from the Fury rematch, Wilder is normally the loudest person in the room, isn't it? But he was very, very quiet about the whole situation when the whole rematch talk was coming around. And now it's revealed he's had bicep surgery. I'm not sure exactly when he's had the surgery, but that fight was quite a while back now. So I'm not too sure about his
medical
medical
issue.
issue.
Doing things since. I've seen him doing a little twerking video and
Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez for the lightweight undisputed title has been announced on Saturday. Teofimo Lopez, he won his world title against Richard Comey, a very good win for him. He's a young fighter. Instead of going to defend his belts against people we've never heard of, going on a home tour or whatever, he's gone, yep, let's go straight for the big dogs, straight to Lomachenko, straight to the big fights. How do you feel about that?
You know me, this is what boxing's about. You know what I mean? I got to take my hat off and salute the guy for it. You know what I mean? It's easy. He could have had 3-4 warm-up fights, and the whole time they would have been talking about him and Lomachenko, and Lomachenko would have been getting older and older. We would have never known. You know me, throw them in the deep end. Take my hat off, salute to both of them. Lomachenko for taking that fight as soon as Lopez won the fight against Comey, and respect to Lopez and himself straight after Richard Comey, which was, I believe, a lot more of a risk fight than people give credit for. That was a big fight, and he's staying in the deep end, so...
Yeah, Lomachenko, of course, is a young, hungry fighter. But with young fighters, that means they can move up the weight classes very quickly. The bodies are still growing and developing, which makes him a very big...
Sorry, how old is he?
21, 22, yeah, 22. So, he was being touted as moving up to about 140.
Yeah.
If not this year, next year. If not, definitely the year after, he'll definitely be at 140.
I don't think so. I think, given his height, he's not tall at the weight at all.
He's not tall, but it's quite big, isn't it? Like
yeah,
he's young. He's not going to make the weight for too much long. Like, this is just what his camp are saying. Like, he's going to move up soon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he's got power. We saw that in his last fight, and he's a big guy. And I think that's what they really need to be banking on against Lomachenko. Because they've seen his boxing ability. He's no Floyd Mayweather. He's got great power, and he's got very good fundamentals. So how do you think that height and weight is going to play out against Lomachenko?
I think, yeah, like you said, listen, there's no point going into a boxing match with Lomachenko and trying to work on boxing. No point trying to think you're going to outbox the guy. But I think the thing with Lopez, given his age, his confidence in given the outcome of the last fight, he believes in his punching power. So I feel like that puts it makes it a little bit more of a relaxed setup in the sense that you feel that, all right, it might not be a perfect game plan, it might not be a perfect fight, it might not be going in your favour for 6-7 rounds, but you've always got the capability of getting him out of there with that overhand right that he landed against Comey. And I feel like, yeah, it works in his favour. He knows that he might not be winning every round, but he's not in there to outbox Lomachenko for 12 rounds. He just feels like he needs to put a good couple punches together, and he's got enough power to hurt him and get him right there.
Yeah, but I think Lomachenko, of course, with me, I always say the number one thing for me at the elite level is your footwork. Lomachenko's footwork's on another level. I can just see him boxing rings around Lopez for a large majority of the fight. His hand speed is incredible. And one thing about Lomachenko, every fighter he's fought at lightweight, he's dropped them. Every single one. No matter how undersized he is, he's dropped every single one.
I didn't even know that.
Most of them multiple times, if not a stoppage.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing, because obviously with fighters like that, once they get into their rhythm, it becomes harder and harder.
Yeah.
I feel like, obviously, even though I'm saying Lopez can relax and think that he's got the punching power, obviously the more that he allows Lomachenko to get into the rhythm, it makes it a harder fight for himself. So I feel like if I was Lopez's camp, I feel like the game plan would be just from the off. Obviously, you might not be outboxing him, winning every round, but putting a couple good shots on him to earn his respect. You know what I mean? Take that respect from him early on, and then obviously, hopefully, you stop him from getting in the rhythm and try and take him out of his comfort zone. But it's obviously Lomachenko pound for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, one thing I always find interesting is Lopez, he's spoke about Lomachenko for a long time, and he's speaking as if he knows, you know what, once I get that guy in the ring with me, I'm going to show these people what I'm about, innit? I know what I'm going to do. What holes in Lomachenko's game do you think he's seeing where he's thinking, I can exploit that? All right, he's got a good right hand like we saw in his last fight. And you've seen Lomachenko drop by right hands. Everyone knows the right hand's a southpaw killer. But other than that, there's not much in Lopez's game that I can see actually troubling Lomachenko.
But that's again, yeah. You know what? I like that. I like that point you brought up. But at the same time, I feel like as a trainer, training fighters, I believe that a fighter should believe he should have that 100% confidence in himself that even if no one else can see it, that all right, he looks like a better boxer. He looks like he's got better footwork. He looks like he's got all the answers for your style. As a fighter, you got to believe that you've got something in it to upset him. Do you know what I mean? And credit to Lopez for putting himself in that position. And the fact that he's been talking about Lomachenko for so long means that he's been eyeing up the top person in that weight and thinking, that's who I want. Not no one else. He's not calling that mediocre fighters. He's not calling that B-level, B-class fighters. Lomachenko's the top guy. That's who I want. So even though on paper, it is hard to see. I'll be honest, I can't sit here and defend him and justify what game plan he might think he has or what he thinks he has over Lomachenko. But the fact that he thinks he has something says a lot about his character, and I feel like character is something you can't give a man, you know what I mean?
I agree with what you say, and I think Chris Eubank always said, people call me crazy and whatever, innit? But you know what? To compete at my level, someone like you who's sitting on the couch, you got to think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
To get where I might have to believe these things. You can't see it because you're not on my level. You can't see it. But for me, is where do you join the line from that to Mikey Garcia fighting Errol Spence?
Yeah.
Where does that line get crossed, and where do you think, you know what, sometimes you got to take a back seat and just think?
Yeah. Obviously, Lopez, listen, first of all, Lomachenko was coming up in weight. Lopez is naturally the bigger man. Yeah. So they obviously feel that even though Lomachenko might be a lot more proven as a boxer, yeah, he might not have the punching power to really hurt Lopez. So Lopez could always be in that fight with a puncher's chance. Even if he's getting outboxed and scored for 9-10 rounds, he's always got that puncher's chance. So...
Okay, let's take Lomachenko and Lopez out of the equation. Just think in general sense. Where do you cross that line from? Okay, you're confident, you believe in yourself. But when do you tell a man, sit back down, let's get back to reality? Innit? Like,
as a who, right? As a who? What point? Because we got a promoter's point, we got a trainer's point of view, we got family and friends' point of view. What point are you asking me from?
As a fighter, just to think, you know what, that's
as
a step to fight. Yeah.
Now we know, you know, I've trained fighters for 5 years coming on the abs. You worked with me in the last year and a half. Sometimes these fighters are delusional. Sometimes they want more than what they really should be having. Sometimes they shy away from situations that you realize you're more than ready for what you realize you're ready for. So I feel like that line would always be there. And I feel like that's that kind of situation where do you take them risks? You know what I mean? If the pros outweigh the cons, you take the risk. If the cons don't, obviously money talks. You know what I mean? If there's big money on the line, that automatically makes it a bit of a hard situation to turn down. But it is a line. It's a tough line to find out where it is and where you cross and where you don't cross, innit? And I feel like that's a team effort at the end of the day between everyone. You know what I mean? The trainer, the promoter, the manager. Everyone needs to realize: are we overstepping our boundary here? Are we taking too much of a big step?
I won't ask for an early prediction. I want to have a little talk about how we see the fight panning out. Yeah, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I see early on, Lomachenko likes to. It's like we were talking about Povetkin versus White. He's just touching. Nice little adjustments, touching, using his feet, seeing what openings he can find. He builds up the fight, starts landing more jabs, sees what Lopez does. I think Lopez will catch Lomachenko a couple of times because what I like about Lomachenko is he's a pressure fighter, but he's so defensively slick. But no matter what, whatever pressure fighter you are, you're going to get hit. And he will get hit. And we'll see how he reacts to getting hit.
But even though he's defensive, he's engaging the whole 12 rounds. He's looking. If he's not engaging, like you said, he's touching, just figuring out something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Figuring out his next way of entry, way to get in there. So
I think if Lopez can touch him and hurt him, then it'll be an interesting fight. But if it goes round 7, 8, and he ain't touched Loma yet, then I think he'll get stopped late.
Who? Lopez gets stopped?
Yeah. I think if you're big for the weight, you're cutting. Yeah. And I don't think he's been tested over the rounds. He doesn't have many late round stoppages to his name. Like
you said, Lomachenko's he's in there to engage, and he's not in there just to see his way through the fight.
High tempo fight every time.
So even if he's only touching, he's not landing powerful shots. He's landing consistently. Yeah. So I understand that. Yeah, if he gets past a certain point of view, Lopez might not have much to offer. But given his last the stoppage against Commey, obviously he's always gonna have that belief. I feel like he doesn't necessarily have to land too much early on. I just feel like he has to feel comfortable that Lomachenko ain't stronger than him. Lomachenko can't bully him or nudge him back, push him back physically. And I think he's always in the fight. Obviously, Lomachenko, you don't want him to get in a rhythm. If he gets in a rhythm, it's dangerous for anybody. But given Lopez's punching power, I feel like he can get away with it for a few rounds. But yeah, like you said, 7th, 8th, if he's gone into the 7th round and he ain't really landed a serious blow, then it's luck from that point of view. He's hoping to land a big punch. If he doesn't, then...
That's a good point, because I remember the Commey fight. There's, I think, 2 instances where Commey's got hit with like solid right hands. And if you watch the coming fight again, there's a couple instances where Lopez has. It's not even a game plan. Just he sees that opening where he knows, all right, he's about to do something. She's going to leave him so open to the right hand. And I think there's 2 or 3 that miss, but the one that lands, that's the one that exactly. So I think possibly his team sees something in Loma where they're saying, all right,
they can get away with that shot.
we can get away with that shot.
The Norris landed the straight right,
exactly.
straight right for the butt.
Yeah,
and I feel like we might not be giving Lopez the credit he deserves in terms of his boxing ability. What did he do for the amateurs? You know,
no clue, bro.
No.
I know he was a decent amateur, but
he went to the Olympics.
2016 Olympics, got kicked out second round.
2016 Olympics to make it to the Olympics.
That's already
for US. Honduras. Oh well, that only. Yeah. It don't. We're not taking that away from him. Obviously, it might be a lot easier to get through that door. It's a back doorway. But
getting there regardless,
he had that experience. But yeah, if either way, to be at the level he has, you obviously have a level of boxing ability to add to your punching power. So it's a good CV. It's a good track record. So he's obviously done well for himself in amateurs. And
losing to a silver medalist ain't nothing bad.
It's nothing bad. And we're gonna look at his highlights, which is punching power.
Yeah.
And then obviously that might play into his hands, thinking that Lomachenko's doing the same thing and taking away from the fact that he does have actual boxing knowledge to set up his power shots and set up certain shots. So for me it's a good fight. At the end of the day, like you said from the beginning, the fact that Lopez at the age of 21, 22, jumping in the ring, taking them fights when he could have easily just rode the wave of his win against Commey, they're throwing him in the deep end. So for that in itself, I look forward to seeing that fight, because I feel like any fighter willing to take on the best so-called pound for pound fighter when he doesn't have to, but he chooses to, says a lot about his mentality. So
yeah, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit to Gary Russell Jr. I like to call him boxing's best kept secret, because this brother, he fights once a year to defend against his mandatory.
Yeah.
In the prime of his career, the fastest hands in boxing, one of the most skilled fighters. Obviously, he lost to Loma, but he is top level. Yeah. He fights once a year because of PBC, and they only let him fight mandatories. He was due to leave them, but now since he's got to a point where he's had enough, so he's calling out his management. But even now, he's calling out other fighters. He pulled up on Leo Santa Cruz's dad. Doesn't speak a lick of English and talk about your dad is here with me now. You don't know what I'm gonna do to him, innit? Yeah, he's on smoke with it. Yeah, right now.
To who?
Leo Santa Cruz.
You see the old man?
Yeah.
And he what?
Took a video saying, "Oh, I'm with your old man. Like, what's good? What's good?"
Oh no, that's beyond boxing, bro. That's beyond boxing, bro.
Then after that, him and Crawford must have got into a beef. Where
wait, so what weight is he? Sorry, because Leo Santa Cruz is what,
super 126.
126.
Featherweight.
That's featherweight, yeah.
And Leo Santa Cruz, he was featherweight as well. Leo Santa Cruz basically ducked Gary Russell.
Okay.
If they wanted to fight, they could have fought. And Russell wanted it.
Man ran up on his dad, said what he had to say, and man didn't want no smoke.
No.
Okay.
And then he had a little beef with Crawford, where apparently in the amateur days, he must have slapped Terence Crawford. Gary Russell.
No, I don't believe it for a sec.
Crawford admitted it. He said there's 2 stories. I think from Russell's side, he slapped Crawford. Crawford didn't do nothing, but you know, as soon as people come, it's like, hold me back, you know, one of them situations.
Right, let me brace myself for this conversation. wait, because Crawford's my guy, you know.
Yeah,
Crawford's
I know, it's my guy as well.
So you're saying he took a slap from Gary Russell and just said, left it.
That's what Gary Russell said. Crawford, he didn't say that, but I can't remember what he said, but you know what, there's no excuse. A little man slaps in your, not to say Gary Russell's a little man, but Crawford's a lot bigger than him, isn't it? Slapped him in his face. From time that guy's got enough range to slap you, you're a boxer. A, you either got to dodge it, or B, you got to hit him back, innit? Quick counter shot.
2-3 punches.
Yeah, exactly.
2-3 punches minimum.
Yeah. So whatever happened, they split them up, and then Crawford got kicked out of whatever squad they were in.
Okay. Okay.
And then Gary Russell talked about moving up to fight Terence Crawford. He said he'll take the fight the next day.
He's a dickhead then.
Yeah. But then after that, he had a beef with Devin Haney.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what about, but then Haney said, you know what? I need a fight right now, innit?
Let's go.
We've sent the contract. Not even we've sent the contract.
Yeah.
You asked for 1.4 mil, we sent you 1.4 mil.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. What do you think about that? Or just the whole Gary Russell situation?
Shout out Devin Haney, bro. I don't know him like that. Obviously, you hear the hype about him, the fights that he's getting built up to be put in. Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia, all these men, they want to mix them lightweight divisions in with each other. But hey, shout him out. That's what I like to see, yeah? Cool. If a man's talking that smoke, then yeah, let's settle it, bruv. I don't know the Gary Russell situation. That's the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah.
But if that's how he's
He's doing a
talking,
lot,
that's
innit?
reckless
Yeah.
talk. And chat, if Devin Haney is serious, if you're saying that, yeah, man, not only did he say it, he sent it. There was evidence he sent the contract. Then what can you say? It's the fight game, but if you want to talk shit, yeah, let's go jump in the ring and settle it, innit? Shout out Devin Haney for that now, man.
Right, Gary Russell's been on all this smoke. How would it look for him to be on all that smoke? On a fight Crawford, on a fight Haney, on a fight Leo. You get a contract offer. You've been fighting once a year.
You turn it down.
He hasn't. I don't know if he's done it yet or not.
Yeah.
His management probably wouldn't let him take it.
Yeah.
But how is that gonna look now? Being like,
If
I'm
he
on
can
all
take
this
that,
smoke.
he's a fool. He's a fool. That's the thing with this game. A lot of these people love to talk on the social media side and they let the promotions do the talking. That's what I'm saying. Shout out Devin Haney. Because if he's saying, yeah, you offered us the fight, we've been looked at our people, looked at what availability we had, and we sent you the contract there and then. If you turn it down, come on.
Yeah.
Says a lot about your character.
We got a fighter, Ryan the Lion Walker, never turned down a
Team
fight.
Fizz, baby.
Yeah, certain fighters with pigtails are not really looking forward to taking
Whoa, whoa, don't draw me out. It's a Sunday. Don't draw me out.
But yeah, certain fighters, you know what, no matter what the weather, yeah, you want to fight, let's go for it, innit?
Come on. That's it. Like you said, Team Fizz. You know what I mean? We're getting offers left, right, and center, and we're taking them. The biggest offer, the biggest opponent we can get. And like you said, without getting drawn out and pointing it, yeah, come on. There's a lot of people that are in a position of power that they're there for whatever reason they're there. You know what I mean? But they're using that position of power and they make it easy for themselves. They don't want the real fights. And they make it easy to pretend that they want them fights and then blame it on management and promotion and all these other people to not take them fights. But it says a lot about a fighter that just at the end of the day, they put themselves in that position to get in that ring with whoever wants it. Whoever's going to get them to that next step where they want to go in the game. You know what I mean? And a lot of these people, they're a lot pretentious is the word. There's a lot of pretentious boxers out there, and you'll be surprised on some of the boxers that you look up to and think, yeah, they're smashing it, they're in the ring, they're doing this, they're talking this on the camera, they're doing that. But behind the scenes, they don't really want it with the real brothers. You know what I mean? They don't really want to get stuck in the deep end and that. And they want to just maintain their undefeated record or maintain their image. But this is the fight game, man.
All right, another topic is Deontay Wilder. He's recently had bicep surgery. I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, but I was saying before, from the Fury rematch, Wilder is normally the loudest person in the room, isn't it? But he was very, very quiet about the whole situation when the whole rematch talk was coming around. And now it's revealed he's had bicep surgery. I'm not sure exactly when he's had the surgery, but that fight was quite a while back now. So I'm not too sure about.
He has been doing things since. I've seen him doing a little twerking video and. I apologize, Deontay. I couldn't help myself. I don't know what went on there, but yeah, he's been trying.
Yeah,
he's doing bits. So obviously, but
yeah, that threw me off still.
It's a mad world we live in, isn't it? But he was the WBC heavyweight champion in the world. There's a certain level of expectation from him, and that bicep injury is sad because at the end of the day, you want to see the fight. You're not really trying to buy into these excuses now, but when you do what you done straight immediately after the Fury fight, going back to David Tay, Vladimir Klitschko, when you want to get your toe out in the middle of the ring and make excuses. Deontay Wilder, when you want to start blaming a
Costume.
10, 15 kg costume that you decided to wear to the ring, you know what I mean? You're going to be labelled as that guy that makes excuses. So, all right, so you're saying it's a bicep, he's injured his left bicep.
Yeah.
Though
the right one this time. Before against Areola, he injured his left bicep and broke his left hand.
Yeah.
And he said it was from an awkward punch. So clearly that punch technique, as much as people say it doesn't matter, your body's not meant to. Your body's not meant to be like
especially
that.
carrying that much power. If you're throwing that much leverage with bad technique, then yeah, you're gonna be the one. You're putting people to bed, but you're gonna suffer from it. But going back to what I was saying, once you start making them excuses, you get labelled, you get portrayed in a certain way. And sorry, going back to David Tay, that stuck with him. After that fight, that stuck with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wilder, you made that accusation, you made that excuse after that fight. It's gonna stick with you. So whether this bicep injury is true or not, people are just sitting there thinking, "Right, you don't really want that fight. You don't want that smoke." You know what I mean? You got laid out the first time, and now you're avoiding it. So
yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you're like, if he had not said those comments, the bicep injury just be like, you know what? He's a fighter. He's hurt. He just had surgery.
yeah,
You just gotta give it time, innit? But
Yeah.
it got to a point where you've put so many people off. Me personally, I'm not put off. If Donnie said that I had bicep surgery, you had the surgery, innit?
Yeah, you ain't gonna think twice about it.
Yeah.
But unless you give people a reason to
Exactly.
suspect
Even
you.
me, I don't. Even with the other stuff, I don't really buy into it. But I'm just talking about the perception of you. You're meant to be that killer, the bronze bomber, so and so, the manifestation, and all the other stuff he talks about.
Yeah, baptizing people.
Yeah, baptizing people, all of that, all the spiritual stuff. My ancestors inside me, and then
Yeah, man had a little hurt bicep and he just couldn't handle it.
exactly. And it's like you built up such a character that I feel like he believes his character more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that character is starting to crumble away, innit?
Do you think that's where it is right now?
Yeah.
It will happen though. This is the fight game, man. But they call it the four corners of truth. The boxing ring, the four corners of truth, because there's no hiding place. What you do outside of the ring, outside of the gym, all comes out once you're in them four corners of truth. Whatever you've lacked, if you've slacked and cut any corners, it will come out. You know what I mean? You can't hide in this. You're there on a platform for everyone to see. And obviously not saying that he slacked before or done anything wrong, but he was known for knocking everyone out. He lacked a certain level of ability and he got found out against Tyson Fury. But if he built his own persona and his own confidence and his own, like you said, that character up based on all the things he done up until that point, fucking no, Tyson Fury just wiped it out for a minute.
Yeah, and I think a good comparison would be George Foreman when he fought Ali.
Yeah.
Before he fought Ali, he made Frazier look like a little kid. Just beat him up.
Yeah.
Beat him up for 3 odd rounds. He's knocking everyone out. Before the fight, he's mean mugging everyone. I've never seen like the young George Foreman ever smiled once in my life, innit?
Never smiled.
Never smiled once. Just that pure character, that whole I'm a this, I'm that. And then as soon as he lost to Ali, and a good comparison between Ali and Tyson, I'm not saying they're the same, but obviously Tyson Fury, he'll get into your head.
Yeah.
He'll talk shit. He tells you what he's gonna do, and then he goes out and does it. And I think as a big puncher, you're that fearsome guy. You've believed your own hype, and then someone tells you what he's gonna do to you,
and
you're
then
thinking this guy's talking shit.
Yeah.
Does it probably worse than anyone ever imagined. Licking your blood in the middle of the ring, it's gonna affect you mentally.
Yeah, Fury. But
It's gonna
saying that,
affect you
going back
mentally
to Foreman
regardless.
and Ali, no Foreman. Ali's my guy. But Foreman got bumped there, you know that, innit?
By what? Throwing all his punches in the air.
No, by not getting a fucking chance to get back up, innit? He was looking at the ref cleaning the eyes, innit?
You're more hurt than him, innit? Because he didn't complain.
Hey, he complained for years. He didn't make a comeback for how long? Because he complained for years. I'm just saying, Ali, you're my guy, but Foreman, keep drilling, cuz.
One thing I'll say is, Ali didn't ever give him the rematch. That's one thing that
So it shows.
Yeah,
it shows.
he never gave him the rematch. That's the one thing.
Yeah. He was pissing blood for months after that.
Yeah.
Bruised tips and all that
My
shit.
favorite part of that fight is when you see everyone go to celebrate with Ali and lift him up, and he's literally punching them.
Yeah,
Like, don't touch my ribs. Don't touch my ribs, bro. It's literally a lot of punishment.
Credit to both them, man. Innit? Obviously, a different era, different generation. But yeah, going back to the point you're saying, obviously, yeah, he built himself up on such a platform based on his ego. And up until that point of Fury, he backed it up. The right hand, the Ortiz rematch. I feel like that was the pinnacle. Luis Ortiz. I feel like that was the pinnacle, you know what I mean? Because he was getting schooled.
He lost every second of every round.
He's getting schooled. And I swear down, he walked away before the punch landed. He started celebrating before he threw it. He realized he was going to land and he said, yeah, good night. Thank you. Have a good day. The man's got too much confidence in that ability. And I feel like that makes the punch more dangerous. But yeah, like you said, Fury, having someone do what they done, and you've got no answer within yourself. You know, sometimes you can go back and go back to the drawing board and realize this way I went wrong. I fucked up because I didn't do this right, or I didn't do that right. Like, obviously, in that sense, Wilder can't say nothing.
Yeah.
The man was in your face. You had no reason not to land that right hand, which is your special attribute, which is your game changer. You had no reason not to, but you couldn't.
I think that must be the hardest part for them, to go back to the drawing board and say, what can you work on in this fight? Throw more right hands. Is that because you can't work on the footwork, you can't work on his back foot game. You ain't got enough time. He hasn't got the coordination.
But if he didn't make COVID work for him, because I don't know anybody, I can't think of anyone else that COVID could have more benefited.
Or to get in the ring and try to work.
Why
on that
not?
stuff.
But look how much time you've had, fam.
He's 34 years old. If he ain't got it now, he ain't getting it.
Yeah, but what time you gonna have? How much time you gonna have to improve on that? You ain't gonna have more time. Obviously, the fight was meant to be an immediate, the third trilogy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All this to come into play. When was the last fight?
Would have been
February,
latest.
Was it this year?
I think so.
February just gone. Realistically, the earliest gonna be is December, January. So we're talking about another year.
Basically.
He could have had 2 gym fights in that time. Working on the foot. I know you're saying he's 34 years away, but once all that comes into play, world championship, heavyweight world title, all the money's on the line. My guy, you better get back in the gym. You better go back to the drawing board. You better go back to the ABCs. You better go back to the basics.
That's where the ego comes in as well, where he's thinking it was the suit.
Then if he genuinely believes that he ain't got a chance in a rematch, let's be honest. If he genuinely believes that, that stands it. We'll find a lot about Deontay Wilder, because if he feels like he's got a lot to learn, he goes back to the basics, it works on him, he can improve. But if he don't, he's blaming all these reasons, he ain't gonna change nothing, innit?
Alright, let's move on to Anthony Yarde. He picked up I think it was a 7th round stoppage. No. I know it was. It was a 6th round stoppage, because I bet the fight would go over 6.5 rounds. Yeah, so I fucked up there. A 6th round stoppage over Dex Spellman, who previously fought Lyndon Arthur. How did you find Yarde in that fight? Did you see any improvements?
Yeah, I like the patience. I like the composure. He looked calm from early on. Obviously, he's been out of the ring for a little while. He had his comeback. He had a fight behind closed doors, I believe, that no one really knew about from the Kovalev fight. I feel like there was improvement to a certain extent. But I'll be honest, from my point of view, I didn't really see enough improvement, given the fact that the opposition weren't nowhere near the Kovalev level. I feel like you should be using them to practice on what you're gonna do next time you're in the ring with a world title, world level opponent. And I feel like he was calm, he was composed, he got into it as the fight come on. He got better every round. He looked more comfortable every round that went on. But I feel like there's a lot of moments of him just hand by that Philly show style, just hands down, not really doing nothing, watching the opponent. I feel like once you get to that top level, them guys take advantage of that. So I feel like, I still want to see more improvement. I would like to know what the camp or as a trainer, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's with Tundi. Shout out Tundi, good coach. Been doing his thing for a while. I would like to know what they're working on behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean?
I think with Yarde, for me, right, it's like, we were talking about this earlier off camera. It's like, even other sports where you're not really interested, you see certain people and think, wow, he's special, like he's amazing. And I don't have no understanding of the sport, but I can just see him and think that's next level.
He stands out.
With Anthony Yarde, of course, the talent is there for everyone to see, innit? But I've not really seen a performance from Anthony Yarde where I thought, you know what, that's the next best thing. Also, coming with that, there was a certain point in the fight where he was, the first round was a bit cagey. He started wearing on Spellman. And then there was one round where Spellman, he came out and he applied pressure on Yarde and put Yarde on the back foot.
Double jab right hand.
Yeah, double jab right hand all the time. And Yarde was really struggling with that. And it wasn't until I think he landed a counter and then stepped back on the front foot, and that's when he took over the fight again. Yeah. But you could see on the back foot, he was not comfortable.
And he shouldn't have let someone of Spellman's level
and lack of punching power
get to that position.
Yeah.
And I felt that the on the inside, even though the style that Yarde likes to hold, that's more of a compact inside style. But I feel like in the inside, he ain't really got no answers. I felt like he was wide open for that right hand. Yeah. Dex threw it a couple times. A couple of them landed, a couple of them just glanced. And they was kind of chopping shots. I feel like a good experienced seasoned fighter that throws him straight down the pipe, manages to just throw something to throw him off, dip, get his weight on that side, and straight down the pipe, would have had a chance of landing it. Obviously, I don't know. I could be way off. I could be completely wrong. They could have thrown it a couple times. Yarde could have adjusted to it, slipped and kind of it and put man to bed. We don't know. But from the outside looking in, I still feel like he's got a long way to go. He's got a lot to learn. And like you said, from the outside looking in, the ability is undeniable. You know what I mean? The guy is a natural talent. He's a specimen of a fighter. You know what I mean? He's build, his physique, everything about him. The way he throws. You don't expect someone of that physique to throw the punches the way he does. The sharpness, the timing of them and everything. But I feel like just the basics and the pedigree, that side of boxing, I feel like he's still got a little while to go here.
Obviously, Spellman is coming off a loss about a month or 2 months ago to Lyndon Arthur. And the whole point of this fight was to build up between those two.
Waste of time, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Straight Yarde victory against Arthur.
Yeah, man. I watched that fight. No disrespect to Lyndon Arthur. He's a good fighter, but he's not on that level, man. You know me. For me, Buatsi and Yarde. Yeah. All right, look, cool. Let me get on to it now. From my point of view, yeah, I feel like M2 brothers there, yeah. Yarde is ahead because he's boxed a world title. He's boxed at that level, yeah. They're billing it. I heard the interview the other day, Yarde talking about this fight needs to be for a world title and this and that. Buatsi, I'm pretty sure he's probably saying the same sort of thing. That's the business point of view. I don't want to hear that from fighters. Real talk, I don't want to hear that. The Anthony Yarde, Joshua Buatsi, obviously, I know him as well, he's a serious brother, but the pair of them are serious donnies, yeah? But Yarde is ahead of it. He fell short of the world title level. So rather than let's make this for a world title, we're gonna build this up. No. Let's not build it up. You're at the level you're at now. If you both want to move on another level, fight each other now. What you got to lose? The only thing you got to lose, is an undefeated record. That obviously Yarde ain't got with having, but the O or the record or taking the L on the record. The only person that benefits is the promoter. That don't benefit the fighter. If we go back 20, 30 years, these brothers was thrown in, and they come out better for it. So I'm saying right now, if Yarde and Buatsi box at this level, if it weren't for a world title, it could be for an intercontinental, international title, one of them titles, win, lose or draw. If they are the fighters that they believe they are, and everyone around them believes they're gonna be, even the loser is gonna become a better fighter from that fight. So if later on down the line, one of them's got a world title or they both got world titles, the second fight is even a bigger fight than what it would have been. The first fight would have been. But the fighters will become better fights from it. And for me, that's the problem with boxing nowadays. Too much they're worried about the undefeated record or the as least possible defeats on the record for the promotion sake of things. As a fighter to develop, you got to take on the best fighters around you because they don't. Yarde ain't sparring no one like Buatsi. I don't know who Buatsi's sparring. I don't personally believe he's sparring anyone at the same level of Yarde. You're not, you know what I mean? You're staying, come out your comfort zone, jump in the deep end, take on a tough fight. And what's going to happen? You're going to earn more respect for the pair of them coming out of that fight. And you're going to be more intrigued in seeing the rematch. And they're both going to be better fighters in the rematch because of the first fight that they had with each other.
I think with Buatsi, for me, when he first started out, I was very high on him. But it's weird. It's like the more he's moving up, it's like the less. You know when you set the bar so high, like every time he moves up,
the expectations are already at that level.
Yeah, it feels like he's always falling short of the expectations. Before I used to always think, you know what, Yarde, Buatsi, that's just an easy Buatsi win, innit? But now as I look at it, I think as of right now, I'd put Yarde as a favourite. Yeah,
100%. More seasoned professional.
Yeah, you see, have it like that as well.
It's a hard one because for me, Buatsi's boxing ability, he does things that you can't even. It's not.
Can't teach, innit?
It's not in a book. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? You could not. I watched him. He come down to my gym when he must have been. He was a novice. He had less than 10 fights. He sparred a seasoned professional, and we expected a good 50-50 spar. And Buatsi schooled him, man. Hitting him as he was switching, hitting him on the move, hitting him with counters, and we couldn't believe what we were seeing. We was like, this kid's got something special. Do you know what I mean? I ended up in Ghana with him, training alongside him in Ghana for the international team. And again, watching him do what he does, it was lovely to watch. It's a natural. He flows well, he moves well, he boxes well. But again, I feel like not that he's gone backwards, but he hasn't progressed the way that someone of his ability should have. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like with the right management and the right promotion, bringing him on against the right level of opposition. Because for me, his last fight, he looked poor. I didn't like him in his last fight. He had no plan B. He had no adjustments. He didn't kind of think, right, this ain't working. Let me step back, touch. Let me think about this and see what I've got in front of me and figure it out. Up until that point, he got away with that. He didn't need to figure nothing out because what he done worked. But when he had something that it weren't really working to get your man out of there, he didn't have a plan B, and I didn't like that. But in that sense, I feel that Yarde is more the seasoned professional, and obviously Yarde's got that experience underneath his belt. So it's a hard one because I like Buatsi's style in the way that he boxes. But in terms of the experience they've had as professional fighters, you can't knock what Yarde has done. And obviously Buatsi has not been in nowhere near that level yet. So given right now, I'll have to say you have to put Yarde as the favourite if he kept his composure and went about his job the way he has been in the last couple of fights and stuck to a game plan. Yeah, so obviously if you look at experience point of view, we go back a few years, the likes of James Degale, George Groves, that fight in itself. For me, I trained alongside James Degale from 2008. He trained at the Loughton Academy, the very first boxing gym I ever went to, and I've never seen a more naturally gifted fighter than James Degale. And for me, George Groves was a very good fighter. It was not special, was not elite, was very good. But going into that fight, you know what I mean? He had the game plan spot on. He stuck to what he had to do. The schooling, I believe he was under Adam Booth at the time, working under David Hayes' tutelage. And they got everything spot on. James Degale, for me, like I said, one of the most naturally gifted fighters. But the schooling, the game plan, George Groves got everything spot on. And you look at what happened from that point in his career and James Degale's career. You know what I mean?
Degale was a champion before Groves, even though he lost.
What champion? What did he have? Commonwealth.
IBF. No,
Oh, world champion. Yeah. Okay, and the loser.
Yeah, the loser
There
became
you
world
go.
champion first.
There you go. So I believe that fight, the original fight, was for the British and Commonwealth. One had the British,
Yeah.
one had the Commonwealth. Jules Groves won them both. Yeah, so the girl come to the IBF champion, world champion before Jules Groves did. But they both excelled massively. And I feel like that comes down to the schooling. No matter how good you are potentially, this is the pro game. You know what I mean? You can't just have the amateur background and think that means you're straight away guaranteed to get to a certain standard, which obviously Buatsi to Yarde are the two opposite ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean? What did he say? Yarde 11? Was it 11? 7? 11, 17 Yarde?
Well, amateur fights,
Yeah.
11.
He's a novice, basically. Before he turned pro, he was a novice. And then you got Buatsi winning bronze medals in Olympics. But this is the pro game. It's a whole different ball game. You got to get into that. You got to get that experience in the pro game before you try and move up too many levels too quick.
On the undercard, we had Bilal Ali versus, I forgot the opponent's name. But I don't even want to touch too much on the actual fight itself because first I didn't watch it.
I watched the fight.
I literally turned on the TV. The fight had just finished. Obviously, we've seen Bilal Ali in the gym and whatnot. And then so they go to announce the fight. It says the winner, I think it was a 4-rounder, so 39-37.
Yeah.
And Bilal Ali had a point taken off in the third round. So 39-37. That
He
basically
had to
means he
won every round.
won every round.
To get that result.
Yeah. And the announcer announces Bilal Ali has won. And the ref's obviously holding his hands and he's ready to lift up the other guy's hand.
Yeah.
Because the ref scored the fight and he knew he won.
Yeah.
So then as they're trying to announce it, the ref just like, he gave him the finger wag. He was like, nah, that's not happening today. And then he was like, nah, that's wrong. And he's trying to lift the other guy's hand up. The announcer's really talking to him, saying, look. And he's like, I wrote it, bro. Don't tell me what to look at. Yeah. And then they had to overturn the decision. And they gave it to the other guy, the journeyman. What was your views on that?
Well, I've spoken to a lot of people and it since then. The initial thought was they just fucked up, innit? That was just a big fuck up. But obviously, at the same time, we know about the controversy that goes on in boxing and about the match fixing. And Bilal Ali was the home fighter. So obviously, it's a draw. The guy was there realistically to make Bilal look good and for Bilal to get the win. He didn't get the win. So, boy, like I said, I don't want to be sitting here talking about, robberies and they tried to do something and da-da-da-da. Shout out to the ref for refusing to let the wrong decision go. You know what I mean? He stopped to make sure that the right winner got the decision. And, Bilal, I feel like it's definitely a learning curve. It's a massive fight for him. You know what I mean? The shout out the opponent. You know what I mean? He come there, he done what he had to do. This is what's exciting about this COVID boxing right now. People getting thrown in there. There's not no journeyman you're bringing in with shocking records. You're bringing in people that are game rough, tough, and ready. But yeah, as far as the decision goes, I don't want to sit here and think that they will try to do some.
Yeah, I think there's two opinions on that. Whether they seen the scorecard and said, you know what, scrap that. We're giving it to the guy. It could be. I don't know if it is. But I think the saddest part of the whole situation for me was when they announced the original one, Bilal's put his hand up, he thinks he's won, whatever. I'm not even trying to criticize the fighter. But the away fighter, who in reality won the fight, he didn't complain. He just clapped his hand and said, yeah, this is boxing, innit? He didn't even look sad. He just like, I've come here, I've done my job. On to the next, innit?
Wasn't surprised.
It wasn't surprised. He just thought, you know what?
He knows how the business works.
That's the saddest part about what happened then. It was just like, even if the decision had gone to the wrong guy, no one would have batted an eyelid. No one would have cared. 2 weeks later, it would have all been forgotten. I just think that's very sad.
Yeah, this is the boxing. Without trying to get into that side of things, we've been dealing with it for how long? You know what I mean? And you know how the game works. This is money. You know what I mean? And right now, the people with the backing, the home fighters, with the sponsors, the people behind them, they get so many things in their favor. And yeah, it is sad to see. But that, like I said, credit to the referee, credit to the whole situation, the fact that the right fighter got announced. And yeah, man, you like to see it. One thing you notice as well, I don't know if you noticed, the trainer on Bilal's side, the whole team, when Bilal got the nod and he lifted his hand up, everyone was there. They wanted to console in the opponent, say, no way, he's done well, But once he got the win, no one was there to be seen. No one wanted to congratulate him, you know what I mean? They was quick they wanted to get out of the ring. I don't know what that was about. For me, that's poor sportsmanship, because at the end of the day, like you said, when he fought, even though he felt he won the fight, he thought they gave the decision to Bilal. He stood there, clapped and said, well done, he would have went about his business. And you like to see the same
Respect vice versa. Right?
Vice versa, yeah. So we didn't see that on that side. We don't know. Maybe there was obviously a lot more going on than we know. Maybe he was just frustrated from the confusion and the whole the outcome. But still, very unprofessional. Frank Warren, we don't like to see that. You know what I mean? You're at the top of the game. You're competing with Eddie right now, trying to get your name back in there. So sort that shit out, please. But yeah.
Moving on swiftly, Canelo Alvarez was talking about him and his underhanded tactics last week. And then literally, I think a day or 2 days later, he has come out of a lawsuit against the Zone, Golden Boy, and I can't remember who the third party in the lawsuit was. But at first, you're thinking, all right, it's Canelo being a diva. But then when you delve deeper into it, the Zone have given him a big contract. They expect 2-3 fights a year. So you can fight who you like, but we want one premium opponent every year, which is fair enough. So we're thinking they approved Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith. Anthony Yildirim is not getting any approval, right?
Yeah.
Rightly so, innit? As back, like, even though the Zone are doing it for their bank account more so than for boxing. Yeah, every TV station should be like, you know what, we're not letting you fight the likes of who's Danny? You remember Danny Garcia, that bum he fought, the cherry pick. Rod Salka, yeah, we're not letting no Rod Salkas happen in here.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but they've come out and said the premium opponents, has to be. Get this, Who was the first one? The boxer. They had one that was a boxer.
De La Hoya.
Oscar De La. Wow. So sorry, even the boxer was Oscar De La.
50 years of
Oh shit. So basically, for Canelo to fight this year against a premium opponent, which he has to do,
the Zone to approve it.
Yeah, which is the only way he can fight.
Yeah.
He has to have a fight. Oscar De La Hoya, his own fucking promoter.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got coke problems. He's out dressing up, doing a fancy dress.
Maybe that's why Oscar's like, I'm having my comeback, bro. He ain't got no options. Oscar, Khabib, I'm not saying the second name. Khabib.
Yeah.
And
say the second name. Say it just so you can clarify.
Nurmagomedov, and I said it right.
Hey, okay. Yeah, okay.
And the last one was Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
Who's I don't say he's a journeyman in the UFC, but he's not even one of the top guys. He's just he's got a lot of buzz about him right
excitement. He's the top guy, isn't he? He's the top guy.
Yeah,
He's Abs is causing upset in the studio right now.
How many world title fights he had?
Let's not bypass from the topic. Please.
All right.
We'll address this once the mic gets cut off because there's gonna be some punches thrown. I could tell. Yeah, bottles getting dashed about. And
bottom line, what the Zone are telling Canelo?
Just saying,
the Zone are telling Canelo, bro, if you wanna fight, this year, you have to fight your promoter.
It says it all.
Fight your promoter, fight 2 UFC fighters.
Yeah. So what are you saying? So what's the question? What are we touching down on? Come on.
I want to join the lawsuit and be on Canelo's side because I'm trying to win some money. There's no way he's not winning that lawsuit. Man's telling me you fight your promoter or fight UFC fighters or you can't fight.
So what topic? What do you want to... I feel like you're touching down on something. You're being shy. You don't really want to touch down on it.
My guy, it's such a mad situation. I don't even know what I'm trying to touch on, innit?
It's the state of boxing. That's the state. It's not even the state of boxing. It's the state of the business we're in. That's embarrassing from the Zone. That's embarrassing. Realistically, let's be honest. You know what I mean? What you've told him is you need to make a fight that is really...
Nothing to do with boxing. Let's just make some money.
It's an exhibition.
Yeah.
It's an exhibition. Canelo, you made your money through boxing, through fight fans, boxing fans, to have got you to where you got to go. We want to see you in the in a fight with whoever the other elite fighters in your categories are. Maybe one above weight division, maybe one below. They're talking about Oscar De La Hoya. They're talking about Masvidal. They're exhibitions. Yeah. They're exhibitions. So if this is truth, we don't know. We only read on what we go by. If this is truth, this is embarrassing by the Zone. Do you know what I mean? You're shaming the sport of boxing. No one in the sport of boxing wants to see De La Hoya in a ring. No one in the sport of boxing believes that Masvidal is worthy of jumping in a boxing ring with Saul Alvarez before Billy Joe Saunders or Callum Smith. And the same goes for Khabib. You know what I mean? Khabib, you know what I mean? I love UFC, serious brother Masvidal. You lot lay your heart on the line in your sport. But for the Zone to be asking for that, it shows the state of boxing right now. And it's embarrassing, really. If that's the top heads, the big heads in boxing, are trying to make that shit happen. Embarrassing. Disgrace.
That's another sad topic as well, isn't it? They said they approved Billy Joe or Callum Smith.
But he's not premium.
Yeah, so he'd have to fight that fight and then still fight Oscar De La Hoya, one of the other guys this year.
So if you really don't deep boxing like that, I feel like this is like saying, yeah, basically they earn hundreds and hundreds of thousands, but we don't want that. We want millions and millions.
Yeah,
So you want to put a joke together. You want to put a shambles of a fight, an exhibition. Oscar De La Hoya, who's been retired for ages. Masvidal, Khabib, who's never stepped in a boxing ring. It's embarrassing, you know what I mean? This is boxing. Don't offend boxing like that, man. Let's get the fights that we want to see, the top fights. You know what I mean? Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders deserves that fight. Give Billy Joe Saunders the fight.
Nah. I used to be so much on the Billy Joe Saunders. I used to get so much hate just from backing Billy Joe Saunders.
So what you saying now? Don't offend me, bro, because I got a bottle in my hand.
Because he come back from COVID and saying, listen, I love Billy Joe Saunders. I was backing him from early. Yeah. But you can't come out of lockdown and say, I'm not ready for the fight. No one's been training. Not? You can't. Bro, we was training on the block. We was training on the block.
I hear you. Getting in shape. Man. Don't try and get me on your side because I'm not on your side, man. I'm on Billy Joe's side.
We was training on the block, trying to get in shape. We was begging to be able to get back in the gym.
I hear that.
People are
and this
struggling.
Is training Ryan,
he's putting out
Walker,
domestic.
Ramirez, Mahmood, Jordan Dujon, shout them out, but we ain't really earning money right now. We're in a small shows.
Yeah, exactly.
If these men are earning mills and mills and mills.
I've wanted him to get that opportunity for so long. It was for so long I was riding Canelo against a southpaw with that footwork. We've seen what he's done against Lara. But for you, as a professional boxer, you're a professional athlete, to not take the biggest payday and opportunity of your life because you're not in shape, inexcusable.
Yeah, shame on you, Billy Joe Saunders. It's not good enough, to be honest. The level of your position, you know what I mean? A man in your position, you should apply yourself a lot more professionally than that. Let down to the sport.
I thought you weren't trying to come on my side, bro.
I didn't know where to go, because I didn't know. I didn't know where to go. Nah, I understand both sides, but nah, I'll make you right. Fuck that. At that level of the career, be ready in it. Fuck it. You know.
To be fair to him, they said because the original date where he said he wouldn't be ready for.
Who do you want to see Canelo for? Fuck it. Who do you want to see Canelo in the ring with?
Callum Smith, straight up. Callum Smith, Golovkin.
It's boring. You know what I like? I like personalities. I want to see Eubank get punched in his face by Canelo. And if Eubank managed to take that punch in the face and punch Canelo back even harder, fair play to him. Kudos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see Canelo get punched in the face by Chris Eubank. And I want to see them man just standing.
When you say personality, you talk about senior in the background of all the press conference, not actual Chris Eubank, because we've seen his personality.
Yeah.
You just want him to fight because he looks like you, innit?
You dickhead. Have you seen his fucking shape up? Fuck off, man. Don't watch my hair right now. Yeah? But when I say personality, egos, innit?
Okay,
tell me now, as a fan, we do not like to see egos get put in their place.
Yeah, 100%.
Eubank is a fucking ego. Now, if he backs it up, fair play. Won't have a bad word to say about you. I would still like to see you get punched in the face, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'll be real with you, I don't even remember the sound of Callum Smith's voice in it. So that's not a very good sign.
That's what I'm saying.
But from a boxing perspective, you can talk about premium opponent.
Challenging fights. You wouldn't like to pick a winner. Canelo and Eubank, you're straight away putting your money on Canelo, but I still think there'll be a lot of moments of excitement in the middle of the ring. They're both going to get in the middle of the ring and go toe to toe.